Hey, welcome into A Cup of Hoops, Season 3, Episode 14, the live period sandwich, sponsored by at Synergy. Cup of Hoops. You're going to get 3 takes, 2 voices, and 1 cup of hoops. But before we get started, I do want to talk about our sponsor, Synergy. As an evaluator, Synergy makes things easy. Their tools are a game changer for basketball at every level. With an open source system, player filtering, and access to accurate stats, Synergy provides the insight to help us excel at our jobs. Most NBA teams and college programs trust Synergy for their video streaming and database style analysis, and now it's available to high school programs. So if you're serious about it, Synergy Sports has you covered. Thanks to Synergy for powering A Cup of Hoops. Little housekeeping. Last weekend of the summer is coming up this weekend, the Gasso finale. We got a little extra gas in the tank. We're going to finish strong here. Long weekend, awesome weekend last week. And we're telling the story of that on the newsletter, the Gasso Cast later of the week, and a little bit right here. Lyndon, what else is going to be on the newsletter?
Yeah, we've got all kinds of stuff. We've got all tournament teams for both of our 64-team brackets that we saw, MVPs, stock risers, next-gen guys. I mean, it's going to be a loaded issue full of just us highlighting the guys who showed out all throughout the weekend. I mean, there was a lot of games that we covered, like 38 hours in the gym, something like that. So, yeah, there's going to be a ton of stuff from this last weekend.
Yeah, 2 broken goals, a leak. We solved all the issues. I think we only missed three minutes of real game time, which is incredible. Really, really proud of our team and how we handled that. What's this weekend coming up looking like, Lyndon? I know you and Mike just kind of put your foot down on the schedule and made it look really good.
Yeah, I mean, it may not be the 2 64-team brackets, but there's a lot of smoke. We were able to put together a lot of 8-team brackets where the 8 teams in those brackets are a lot of killers. We got some shoe teams coming back. We got some teams who really had great weekends last weekend, running it back this weekend. Hopefully that schedule's coming out pretty quickly, but I'm expecting another, very good weekend for evaluations and for college coaches for what they can expect to see.
Yeah, it's going to be fun this weekend. You just mentioned college coaches. We always start the show with a recruiting simplified topic. I just want you to give a piece of recruiting advice that has really resonated, just during these times, like right now. Like what would be your recruiting advice to a player right now if you're talking to him one-on-one?
Yeah, and that's just going to be when you're marketing yourself to college coaches. It's all about finding that right blend of the translatable skills and the body of work. It's not going to be just, hey, look at this cool dunk, hey, look at this deep three that's going to grab a college coach, because it's really competitive right now. With JUCO and the uncertainty with that's going on right now, with the portal continuing to grow every single year, a lot of college coaches, it's going to take some extra convincing for them to take a high school kid straight out the jump. So, while the splash plays are great, show them that body of work and show them the things that translate. If you're a guard, show yourself being able to catch and shoot off of actions and off of screens and stuff that would be in an actual offense. It's not just catch and shoot straight stuff from the wing. Wings, can you guard multiple positions? Can you be able to impact the game on both ends as not just somebody who can score in transition, but somebody who can get you a stop on defensively? And bigs, like, defensive rotations is going to be half the battle of you learning what college coaches want at the next level. Show them that you're active defensively, that you can affect shots even if it's not your primary the person that you're guarding. And then obviously passing out of the post, not just being somebody who's just the drop step dunker, to show that you have a little bit more offensive game. Help with that, because at the end of the day, when you're marketing yourself to college coaches, they want to have as little uncertainty as possible. They want to know exactly what they can expect from you when you show up on day one, and believe that you're going to make an impact right away.
Yeah, good word. I'm going to go with this is more for players without offers right now, and I would just say, hey, a slow ascent is better than a meteoric rise. Like, we see it every year where kids get announced a little probably too early, and what happens is they stop working, they get complacent, and you see guys kind of coming in behind them. And on the up and to the right trend, and they start pulling in these offers because they've just stayed with it. So, yes, is the dream to have that 10 offer weekend? Absolutely. Do not get me wrong. But if I'm talking to a kid, I'm telling you, hey, it's okay for a slow ascent. You want to be chasing that front runner. You don't want to be that guy, get complacent. I think it's always a real healthy way to look at things. And like we've always said, since COVID, since the portal's really taken off and changed the way that things are done, like we're almost like a class or a year behind. Like these college coaches are still getting to know you. This is a courting phase. If you are lucky enough to get an offer, fantastic. But keep grinding. Do not get complacent. And it's okay that the grind and the journey is slow, because that's what forges offers in the end. So just enjoy it. Continue to play. Continue to get better. Continue to play well. And be okay with the slow ascent. All right, 2025's last hurrah this weekend, Lyndon. This is kind of it. And there's a couple that are available that played in our event this weekend that, quite frankly, should be on a college roster next year. And I just wanted to touch on them. I mean, it's the reality of the situation, kind of just like what I was saying. Like, this is the last hurrah, and I just want to advocate one more time for a 2025 that needs to be on a roster. Lyndon, who's that for you?
Yeah, I'll honestly go with two, a guard and a big, because Sabian McGraw, I mean, when I said body of work, he's a guy I can reference to because he has just gotten better every time we've seen him. Had 29 in a game I was there for this weekend. Just an electric scorer, tough, can hit shots. I mean, he's somebody who I think that needs to be prioritized very heavily. And if you're a JUCO or D2 or something along those lines, get him on your campus ASAP, because if you're looking for another guy to add, he's about as good as there's left in this 25 class for a guard that can score. And then Zion Cato with Tarrant Elite, he was just, physically dominating the game. I've always loved, not just the frame, but how skilled and how soft that touch is around the rim, where he can finish over either shoulder with good footwork. And he kind of reminded us this weekend that, with a guy that size, deserves a lot of college attention, even as a 25 at this stage.
And even though this isn't a football show, I think that guy could thrive on the football field with those feet. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Zion Cato could. I think someone just take one look at him and sweep him up, just the way he moves, in both basketball and football. I'm gonna go with Christian Smallwood, TA Elite. They've won a lot of games this season at the Gasso. He's a really big reason why. I can't advocate hard enough for this kid. He's got game length and just the ability to turn himself into an elite defender when the time comes. College coaches, if you got a roster spot, this is a kid to take a look at, and I think he could come in and push some people right away, depending on level. So just wanted to push those names: Sabian McGraw, Zion Cato, and Christian Smallwood. Lastly, going into this last weekend of the summer, Lyndon, who's a guy that you're going to be advocating for that's coming to the Gasso or not to college coaches when they're going out to these events?
Yeah, the one pick from this weekend that I'll talk about a little bit more in the newsletter, and that's Carter Shipman with Invictus Red Storm. I mean, 6'6", and has just been blowing up since we saw him at the Bryan Gasso in early June, where, he's the type, he can get a rebound, give it up, get it back, make a decision, and it's going to result in points for his team. I mean, he can shoot on the move with really pure, compact stroke. And every time that I was on his court this weekend, it just seemed like he was impacting the game positively. A lot of times with his offense, but he's also, a above average rebounder and somebody who reads the game well from a defensive standpoint. So he's one that's going to make it very easy to advocate for as he's on this trajectory. Picked up a UD offer earlier today, and a lot of college coaches were circling his name this weekend.
Yeah, our awesome picture that Daniel took of me and you evaluating was us watching that court. And Carter just had some game. Like, he's gotten a lot better from what I saw him in the season to now. So that's exciting. That's a good name. I'm going to go with Seth Turnbull NTX Wildcatters, Lyndon, I don't know if you got a chance to see them.
Yeah.
We were kind of moving around this weekend. He did some things this weekend that really, really impressed me. He was playing on the perimeter. He knocked down a couple threes in front of me. He's legitimately 6'5", 6'6". He's a really good rebounder. There's just a lot to like in what I've just said. Rebounding, shooting, size. Like, come on. That's a player that you need to be taking a look at that I think is flying wildly under radars. I think you could suck up some value there because he is a really, really good player. But that's going to do it for this edition of A Cup of Hoops. Remember, our Cup of Hoops, short, sweet, to the point. We'll get on the GassoCast later this week with the full team, drop some words there, and then we're free running into the newsletter and into the last live event of the season. Thank you for being a part of Gasso, and we will see you next time.